Hi, I'm from GreenShortz, and today I want to show you how to make a simple firebox for a paint can rocket stove like this one by simply digging a hole. If you watch the build video for this paint can and perlite rocket stove, you'll remember that I built a simple firebox using some pavers. But today I want to build an even simpler version simply by digging a hole in the ground, similar to the way that a Dakota Fire Hole works. It's also going to make this particular stove easier to use than it was on my sand table over there because it was so high. I'll be able to just drop a pot on top and be able to keep an eye on it a little bit better while it boils. I've chosen the spot underneath this tub of soil here to locate the rocket stove because that'll save me the step of having to clear the ground. I'm also locating it away from any trees just because they're root. I don't want to disturb them or have the fire next to them. Now that I've got my location picked and cleared, thanks to the tub, I'm going to grab the chimney and use the section of exposed pipe to mark the ground where I'm going to begin digging the hole. Using the circle as the back edge of my hole, I'm going to start digging using this old machete. I'm going to dig it about 4 inches deep and 4 inches wide, and it'll ramp up toward the front to ground level. Get a few inches topsoil, and then we're down to our Georgia clay. I'm going to use some of the loose clay here to kind of level out around where the chimney is going to sit. It's a little more firm than the topsoil. Make this a little bit more stable. Last little clean out, and then a test fit. Just leaning a little bit. Let me straighten that out. Woo. Alright, the last thing I'm going to do is create a little bit of a bridge to support the front of the chimney and to provide a barrier to help channel the airflow underneath. It needs to be a little deeper. And last thing I'm going to make is a riser for the fuel, which will keep it elevated, allowing airflow underneath. And to make that, I'm just going to use a piece of wire fencing. Now I just need to find some fuel. And go big with a fire starter to get this thing going fast. The dampness of the ground will have an effect here on the heat of the fire to start. The fire is starting to draw. Right now I'm wishing that the hole was about 2 inches deeper, although I hear a rocket sound. I'm gonna go ahead and put my pot on. I don't think the firebox is big enough. I think it needs to be deeper. So I'm gonna put this fire out, clean it out, and then enlarge the firebox. I'm gonna save these coals though so I can use them to restart the fire. One of the nice things about working with dirt, you can stop and adjust. All right, I'm a little happier with that clearance. Let's try this again. I'm going to carefully grab the hot sticks and rebuild the fire. One thing that helped was loading some of the smaller sticks from the top. This fire is a little more difficult to light than I thought it was going to be. I wonder if it's the moisture in the ground that's causing this trouble, or if it's just the wood's too green or damp. I'm going to keep trying. If any of you had any experience with this type of fire pit or Dakota Fire Hole, let me know in the comments below. Signs of life. Let's see if it spreads. I'm gonna get my pot on top while it's firing up. This 6-inch GSI Halolite boiler, 1.8 liter, is the perfect size for this 3.5-inch pipe that makes up the riser on this rocket stove. Alright, I got the fire going now. Let me keep it going. Train's here. Who put those eggs in there? So the water is steaming, but no boil just yet. Let's keep this fire going. think my sticks might just be too thick and perhaps too punky. So I'm going back to some smaller twigs. The faster burn might be better. This might have worked better with the one paint can rocket stove. A shorter riser might have been helpful in getting the heat to the pot a little bit more efficiently. A little bit closer to a boil. Let's put the lid back on. So this hasn't really performed like I thought it was going to. Of course, you're seeing this for the first time like I am right now. But I think it would potentially work for a temporary situation. This is, in fact, temporary. It's going to fill with rainwater, kind of break down. But if you were camping with this type of stove, perhaps the one can versus the two can, then something like this might actually be portable. I think that the ground is just cooling off the fire too much, losing too much heat there, and it's just not getting the rocket going. I've heard it at times, a little bit of a low rumble, but not nearly what happens when it's got a firebox underneath it. A proper firebox, that is. If you use this type of fire hole when you're camping, you can just fill it with water, fill it back in, and you can rest assured that your fire is out before you move on to your next campsite. I don't think I'd recommend taking the 2-can version of this rocket stove with you, but the 1-can version might be light enough to carry or strap to the pack. It's still a little bulky though, perhaps. Anyway, I'm gonna see if I can at least finish off this boil with these eggs. I can hear the boil. It's going. This isn't a rolling boil, it's a rattling boil. Take these off to rest. If you'd like to see the build video for this rocket stove riser and the firebox that went with it, I'll put the link at the end of this video and right up here in a card. Special thanks to my patrons for helping make these videos possible. If you'd like to join me, come on over to Patreon. I'll put the link in the description below. As always, our mission here at GreenShortz is to help you see green so you can be green, and save a little green by doing it yourself. Thanks so much for watching. Keep the great comments coming. Please like and share, and subscribe for a new GreenShortz DIY video almost every Friday.